You join us now on the Avigilon set, should I say, your amazing stand, and James here is the Chief Operating Officer. Very good to see you.
Good, and thank you so much for coming.
Well, tell me, how's the exhibition going for you?
You know, so far really good. Foot traffic has been busier than we expected, which is great. We have a lot of new things that we're showcasing here, so it's been very good for us to see.
And in fact, a lot of contributors have been saying that actually the quality of people coming to see you is amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's been very good. We found a lot of good new leads coming to the show this year, a lot of course, repeat partners and our value-added integrators and those sorts of things showing up, but we've had a very successful show so far with partners and end users.
Good. Well, I just want to, you're from Dallas, I know that, which is obviously very nice and warm. I arranged the weather for you, so you feel at home.
Oh, greatly appreciate. You know, this is still a little cool for where I'm from, but yeah, we're getting closer.
I'm working on it. Okay, so tell us about the company itself. What do you do?
All right, so I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Avigilon. We've been in business now for over a decade offering security solutions into the market. You know, really, for this year's show, we've sort of focused on a couple of key things. One of which is to diversify our portfolio and tool set that we offer out to our integrators, and really the number of things that they can offer into building a solution for their customers. So specifically, we've come out with a number of new devices at the show here. You know, if we start off with the one right next to us here, this is our brand new Avigilon presence detector. Something that's very unique and new into the industry, and really what it's designed for is a wide variety of applications where maybe a traditional security or surveillance device doesn't suit the need.
Okay, so what makes it so different?
So what it does is it uses radar technology, and it's able to detect breathing rhythms of individuals. So it can see through walls, through other applications. So when you start to think about how it could apply, there are certain areas where you maybe don't want a traditional video camera for privacy reasons or other things, but you want to know if someone is either there.
Would you give me an example of something like that?
So when you think about like healthcare applications, for instance, right? For privacy reasons, you might not want to put a camera in a room, but it'd be very valuable to be able to detect if someone is still breathing, right? Something very sensitive. A device like this can do that for you, or in certain other applications like for financial institutions in closed areas, in certain circumstances you get individuals there that you don't want. Well, once they're hiding behind something, it's very difficult to detect them. This device overcomes those challenges.
And what's the sensitivity of something like this?
Yeah, so this will actually work out to about 9 meters. So you can deploy them throughout a facility, or even behind or above ceiling tiles or wherever where they're discreetly hidden so people don't even recognize that it's there, and it's still able to cover a vast area.
Oh wow, that really is Big Brother, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's the next stage. It's, you know, as we've coined it, it's really an IoT device and really bridging outside of what people traditionally think about security and surveillance applications.
Are there any other competitors with regards to this particular product?
To the best of our knowledge, we are the first and only to have a device like this out in the marketplace today, specifically for security and surveillance.
And so in terms of this exhibition, have people picked up on that?
You know, we've done a very good job. Our marketing and media team have done a very good job in promoting it, and we've seen a lot of individuals coming by to really determine what it is. And you know, the exciting part is that they've been able to come up with applications that even we didn't think of for the device.
Really? So that's good. That's great that you've got that dialogue going between, you know, the people coming to visit and yourselves.
Yeah, it's been very, very good. You know, we have a extremely loyal partner base, and those partners are always interested to see what other tools we're giving them to offer out.
Okay, one of the big themes is connectivity. I know you've got some other stuff around here you want to show me.
We do. We have a number of other devices. If we come on over here and we look at another device that we've actually launched out into the marketplace, which is what we call our mini dome. Now, the mini dome device is an extremely small, discrete camera.
Wow.
Used for either areas where, you know, maybe it's a little bit more price sensitive of a marketplace, or they're frankly just looking for a discrete application for surveillance. So it's an all-in-one unit with different housings, and really what we focus on is not only the discreteness and the quality of the camera, but also ease of install. So I can snap it into different bases depending on my application, so I have one camera unit that now can be applied to different areas.
And does this have a fixed lens on it, or you?
So this one is a fixed lens with IR, day-night, WDR, wide dynamic range, of course, as well. So all the bells and whistles that they'd want out of a unit like this, just in a very compact package. And you know, when you go into various applications, this follows the same suit as our other line, which is our SL line, in that it allows the integrator to be a little bit more diverse in what they're coming up against. Because sometimes they'll show up and they'll expect to be mounting a camera in a particular application or a particular way, and the end user throws them for a little loop.
Yeah.
Now, normally in a real application, what you'd have to do is then go back, return the camera you have, get a different camera or a different form factor and bring it back. With these easy mount options, you can now apply on the fly and adjust to what your customer actually needs.
I mean, it's extraordinarily, oh sorry, I'm going to break it now. I mean, it's extraordinarily small.
Yeah, very tiny.
It's
smaller
tiny.
than an apple. And you know, a beautiful application. You'll see some of them mounting around here, but it again expands not only the application and the form factor, but also in terms of the cost basis.
Yes.
As we continue to give our integrators more areas and more tools to expand into maybe a bit more price-sensitive marketplace.
And are companies excited by this sort of thing?
They've been very excited. You know, this has many applications when you start to talk about retail, who want discrete applications where aesthetics are very important. What they're looking for is high-quality solutions that are, of course, aesthetically pleasing and fit with what their demands are. And these types of solutions have been allowed us to really be successful in those areas.
And could you use cameras like this, obviously for security, but for footfall as well? Or would that be a different kind of camera you would need?
You know, the use of our technologies always amazes me. Yeah. You know, we come out with them and we expect a certain number of applications and how they're going to be deployed. And it's our partners, our integrators, our value-added distributors, I think they expand that 1,000-fold every time we release a new product. So it's always amazing to see.
Oh, good, great stuff. What else have you got lined up?
Well, if we continue over here, you know, the last step I think we'll do is really focusing on the other area that Avigilon has invested a lot of resources, a lot of time, and really diversified our technology, and it's about video analytics. You know, we see video analytics as the future to the industry, in that when you think about what is happening today, security devices, cameras and others, are being deployed in larger numbers than ever before. But the challenge with that is you don't have more human operators to support those cameras.
Exactly right.
So you end up with a lot of devices deployed and no one watching them.
Yeah. And you're only as good as the data you watch.
Yeah, and you're only as good as your ability to actually affect what's occurring. Now, if you're not watching them, you don't know what's occurring, and again, you're in the same problem where you have this very good quality information, but the damage has already been done in some cases.
Okay.
So what video analytics does is it really changes how people interact with their surveillance system. Now what you're doing is you're using artificial intelligence, deep learning, and these advanced technologies to become that 24/7, 365 watcher. So they are able to watch all cameras all the time and determine events that you might be interested in.
So how would that work? So do you put in parameters that you're particularly interested in? So for example, if something happened, times or dates or colors, or how does the analytics side work?
So, you know, there's a stage of our analytics that does work like that, where you can go in and define exactly what it is you want to know and have the system tell you when those events occur. Now, ours are a little bit different, and we use self-learning analytics. And the reason why that's valuable is there's a barrier to entry when you think about analytics, and that is actually in the deployment. You need a very advanced technician who's willing to spend the time and effort to configure all these things to make it successful. Ours removes that barrier to entry because it's self-learning. So you deploy it, it starts to learn, and you simply tell it what you want to know, and it gets smarter as it learns your environment.
So give us an example of what sort of thing people might want to know.
So they'll want to know, let's say I'm operating a business, and my business has people coming and going, but there are certain hours where people aren't supposed to be in specific locations. I can now use analytics to say, we don't care if a leaf blows or if a product falls off the shelf, but I do want to know if a specific individual is in this area during these hours. And because it understands what a person looks like, it's able to tell you that. Now that's been very successful for us as an organization, but we're only getting started with what we're doing. Because the other challenge you run into is, if I sat down with you today and I said, tell me everything that you're worried about and want to know, you could probably come up with 5 or 10 things that are of interest to you, right? These are things you want to know. Yeah. But there's 1,000, 10,000 other things that you wouldn't be able to articulate to me, but that you are interested in. But that's where the human brain comes into play. So if you watch video, you would say, I've never seen that before, what is that? But you're not able to articulate that up front. And this is where we get into our more advanced technologies like unusual motion detection.
Right.
So the unusual motion detection, what this does is it starts to learn your environment, and it will actually tell you, as it learns, when something is out of the ordinary.
So just looking at the screen on the left, what are we looking at exactly?
So what you're looking at right now is some samples of the unusual motion detection action. And what it's doing is telling you that I've watched this particular scene or area for a long time, and these are the things that I know happen. Cars drive in this way. Right. People walk in this direction. Now when something that it's never seen happens before, it can now notify you, so that you can decide, is this something that I need to take action on? Because it might be a threat, it might not be a threat, but it is something that's never happened before and you should be aware.
So essentially it's sifting information very fast and giving you information that you then need a human operator then to you know, make a decision on.
Exactly. So when you have 1,000 cameras and you have one human operator, where they're only able to watch 5, 10, 20 cameras, this watches all 1,000. And what it will do now is tell the operator when they need to pay attention to a specific camera in a remote location. Picture applications where, let's say there's a giant open area, and people will typically walk through it. Now all of a sudden you have everybody running. Now if that's never happened before, technology like unusual motion detection can send an alarm saying, we're not saying there's a problem, but this definitely requires you to look at. And these are things that you can't define that the system can now take care of for you.
I mean, it's extraordinary. Just with your crystal ball, what is the next year going to hold, the next 5 years? Or is it just moving so fast you can't tell?
Yeah. You know, really, at Avigilon, what we're focused on is redefining how people interact with security and surveillance solutions, in that it's still very analog or very mechanical today, right? I'm looking for someone, so I pull up a device, and if he's not on that device, I pull up another device, and I go through one by one, or maybe I know where the cameras are, and that's how I try and find what I'm looking for. But when you think about it, they don't really care about the device. What they're looking for is an end result. And an end result is, I want to know where James is. That's what I care about. I don't care if he's on camera 1 or camera 20, I want to know where he is. So things like our appearance search allow you to forget about all of the devices that you're using to do this and focus on the end result, which means now you can react faster and hopefully impact these things and be a lot more successful in protecting people, property, and other things.
James is absolutely extraordinary. Well, I wish you a great deal of success here at the exhibition. I hope you get many more customers and engage with your current ones, and I'll keep an eye on what goes on in the next 12 months.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for joining us.